This is your WW3 news. Stellantis has announced they're going to take away one of those electronic safety gizmos off two models, the Fiat 500 and the Fiat Panda, as known as. Basically, what this thing does is any vehicle which goes over 120 kilometers an hour speed, which these cars they can more or less they can do 130, 135. We're limited its speed, which is, you know, these vehicles are not designed to go below that speed. Around 130, okay, fair enough. And to lower the price of these vehicles. The problem is, with these directives of Brussels, with all these so-called electronic gizmos for road safety, at the end of the day, you don't need it, your average motorist. It's just another distraction, another cost. The problem is, if you eliminate these things, as usual, the prices will go up anyway. So it doesn't make any really difference at all. Because most of the road accidents, statistics I'm talking about, occur at speeds below 100 kilometers an hour. So it's just a load of bullshit. Basically, mate, aggravates motorists' pleasure to drive and push up the cost of the new vehicles, which, you know, more electronics they have on board, more it's prone to fail. Like the quality of the modern cars, software issues, electronic modules which fail. You know, having a lot of computers underneath the bonnet is not exactly a good environment for them anyway. What's the best thing, what they should do is, like in the good old days, when you purchase a car, these things shouldn't be a standard equipped on cars. It should be as an option. Because if I want this, okay, you add it on. Like in the good old days, when you purchase your new motor, with a salesperson striking a deal, and you basically I want a car like this, and place an order, and your car is like this when you come and pick it up, whether it's 30 or 60 days. Why should we should be forced to, you know, to buy a car with a full of things which we don't want, and in the end we do not use. That's why the prices of cars are high. They tend to be more faulty, and also the quality of new motor vehicles and their reliability have gone down in percentage. These are things they don't want to tell you. And then obviously the European Union, Brussels, is always interfering in things which does not concern them, which they have no competence in this area, especially in the motor trade. And practically, they're bringing down the motor industry in Europe on its knees. You know, these 3-cylinder engines, due to the Euro 6 and the next Euro 7, has high compression fuel injection ratio with respect to other motors, all in the name of let's say ecology and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's a load of bullshit. You think you have done your part for the environment. No. You are consuming more fuel regarding your, what you might call it, other type of vehicles of the past, the Euro 4 or Euro 5. They probably are the most efficient and more reliable vehicles so far, well kept. And you know, it's going to even get more worse with Euro 7 and Euro 8. Because at the end of the day, they're just going to piss off people owning a private car. It's probably their aim to do so in the end. So the privilege of owning a motor vehicle is a bit like if you were in the Soviet Union. Only a few were permitted to have such privileges in the end. And obviously EVs is another scam. Is a part of the so-called narrative to destroy private car ownership, really, in the end. Electric EVs, which are dangerous regarding its batteries and its obsolescence as hardware. Because the cost of the EV at the end of the day, and the major cost is the battery itself, not the vehicle. And the fact is, there are improvements in software and technology on these things every year or every 2 years when nothing comes out. At the end of the day, you've got the shitty cars, which will be the Euro 7 and 8 and onwards, and regarding the Euro 6 as well, due to these ridiculous restrictions, which, you know, has no logical part of engineering. It's an absolute disaster. It's a bit like squeezing stone for juice, basically. That's what they're doing with these engines, basically, to respect these parameters, which are absolutely insane, and it's impossible to reach without compromising, you should say, the vehicle itself efficiency and consumption and its performance. Because let's face it, these hybrids and these three-cylinder engines, they use a lot more fuel than you think, and they say even pollute even more, 5 times more than your average vehicle, diesel petrol car. They want to demonise diesel. We must eliminate the sales of these cars. We must eliminate the methane natural gas cars here in Italy, which is the most best and more cleanest car form of fuel you have. It's all another business, basically. They're conjuring up. And the impact of it on the environment is a lot more with respect to the production of a traditional motor vehicle with diesel petrol, basically. Because, let's face it, EVs, they require more materials and elements, which are rare materials, I should say, and it's not easy to find. Therefore, you have to use energy and machinery to obtain these materials. And also the issue of the battery itself, they say probably 8 years it will last. They're very complex to produce. That's why the high cost of producing the batteries in the end, which has no sense at all. Basically, you're just buying a rocket which will really carry out to you flight on.